Thank you to all my channel members, including my fan appreciation level members and my contributor level members, for helping support the YouTube channel. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my YA and middle grade book series ranked. This is a ranking of YA and middle grade book series that I love, series that I've really enjoyed reading, and so I haven't done one of these in a while, and since I did the last one, I've read a lot more middle grade and YA, and read a lot of good middle grade and YA. I'm going to start off by including a few caveats. First is I'm not including standalone YA or middle grade books in this video, mostly because I've not been focusing on that in my reading, but also because I wanted to focus on series. I will mention one standalone right now that is like my favorite middle grade standalone that like deserves recognition, and that's Red Falcons of Trimoyne by Henry Pert. This is one of Henry Pert's only two books that Henry ever wrote, but it is a terrific book about the Middle Ages, about this boy who is this kind of orphan who ends up being part of this castle, and it's a very different society, and he has to acclimate to it, and you really learn about what medieval life was like, and it's a terrific book about family and about adoption and things like that, and I thought Red Falcons of Trimoyne was just worth the mention here. But so that's one caveat, is I'm not going to talk about standalones other than that. But I'm also not going to include any media tie-in fiction, which I have a lot of YA middle grade media tie-in fiction. I've read a ton of Star Wars YA in middle grade. I've read some Star Trek middle grade. I've read some middle grade Bionicle books. I'm not including any of those. I'm doing like original series. So this will be not a top 10, it'll be a top 11, because I just had to include my number 11 as well, because these are all great. So we'll start with and by the way, there's several other YA books and series that I've read that I just, I enjoyed and just didn't put on this list, or I just didn't enjoy that series, which is why it's not here. But this is my top 11. This is the good stuff. And so we're going to start with my number 11, which is Small Spaces, The Quartet by Katherine Arden. This is a quartet of middle grade books. They're all about 200 pages, really short, and it's about these kids who are, they're going on either field trips or family trips, and they keep running into these kind of monster type things, and it's really creepy and ethereal. And each book, it's 4 books, and each book is set during a different season. The first book's set during fall, second's winter, third book spring, fourth book summer. And the first book is, I think, really well executed, and the second and third are entertaining, but the fourth book is downright creepy. And I think that Katherine Arden is able to tell a kind of scary, spooky horror story that kids will enjoy. Like, kids can handle this, but it's a little bit freaky, and I think it works really well. And that's why that's my number 11. My number 10 favorite YA series or middle grade series. It's actually dropped down on the list a bit since I did my last ranking, because I've read some book series that I think are better, and that's the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. I read the full trilogy. I've also read some of the spin-off books, the prequel books, by Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping. And I enjoy this series. I particularly like the first 2 books a lot. I think that Sunrise on the Reaping is pretty good, and Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is pretty good. I did not care for the Mockingjay book, which is surprising because Mockingjay Part 1 is my favorite of the movies. But I did not care for Mockingjay, the book. But so that's why it's a little bit lower, ranks number 10. But the action in this series, the way that she's able to do such simplistic yet wonderful world building, and a great characters and a great love story in here. So I really just had a blast reading the Hunger Games series, and it's one of those series that a lot of my students at school will read, particularly the girls, and really enjoy it. So yeah, Hunger Games was very good. That's my number 10. My number, I think it's number 10. My number 9 is going to be the City of Ember series. I've only read the first book so far, but that alone gets it onto the series list. I have the other 3 books to read soon. This series is incredibly fun. This book really has incredible mystery behind it. Even if you've read it or seen it, when you go back and reread it, you're like, oh man, I'm picking up so much stuff. And it's got a fun sense of adventure that I really enjoy. And I'm super excited to read the rest of this series. And I won't spoil the mystery if you've not if you've not read the books yet. So yeah, this is a really good series. That's my number 9. My number 8 is going to be a duology, the Hit and Strike duology by Delilah S. Dawson. This book series, I think, was originally meant to be a trilogy, but the publisher never really picked up the 3rd book, so it's just 2 books, but they work really well together, and you could just read the 1st book, and it's great, and you read a 2nd book, and it's great. But this duology is basically the premise of what if this private business that was like a bank, bought out all the U.S. government's debt, so the U.S. government has to obey this business, and then this business, you finds out that you've been signing those, read the terms and conditions, and you didn't read it correctly, and so because of that, they now have the right to employ you as an assassin to go kill other people who did not pay back their debts in time. And so this book is about this teenage girl who, she and her mom have some debt, particularly her mom, and so this girl is hired by this bank to kill 10 people, and if she kills all 10 of them, they will forgive her mother's debt, and if she doesn't, then she and her mother could die. And so it's the book about her trying to figure out, do I go and be an assassin? Do I go and do this stuff? It's dark for a YA, but it's a really excellent read. I had a lot of fun reading this duology. So yeah, the Hit and Strike books were really fun by Delilah Dawson. That's my number 8. My number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, my number 7 is going to be a series that some people are going to say is way too high, some are going to say is way too low. I loved this series, and that's going to be Twilight. The Twilight series. It's cheesy. It's a romance series. It's got very minimalistic world building, but it works for me, and I had a blast, and I really enjoyed the love triangle, at least up until the 3rd book. But I really, of course I was all on board with Bella and Edward, but I still liked Jacob and wanted him to be happy. And then in the 3rd book, he kind of went off a little bit weird. But I enjoyed this series. I think that the Twilight series is just a fun, sweet read. Yes, it's romance and cheesy, and yes, it led to trends, but just because it led to trends doesn't mean it's bad. So yeah, I enjoyed this book series quite a bit, particularly books 1 and 4. Books 2 and 3 were good, but books 1 and 4 I think were the best. So that's my number 7 is Twilight. My number 6 is going to be a series that one of my channel members, one of my viewers recommended, and that's going to be the Divergent series. I really enjoyed reading the Divergent series. This is a trilogy of books. I thought all 3 books were fantastic. And, the concept of what the city's like with the different kinds of schools and teams that the people are set into, and the way that it kind of borrows from a lot of YA tropes is great. It's very appropriate, and I really appreciated the romance in here. I appreciated the action. The twists I think are great in this series, and I think it's just such a fun read to read this trilogy. And I pretty much all read them all in a month because I was just so enamored by them. I was just having such a good time. So yeah, the Divergent trilogy is my number 6. Is really great. The oldest series on this list, very much a classic, is Narnia at number 5, the Narnia series. This is a tremendous middle grade series, although adults love it too, of course. C.S. Lewis understood how to take whimsy. He understood how to take this concept of otherworldliness, the Isekai portal fantasy of going through doors into a new place. It was just fantastic. It's very much a trendsetter, as you'll see later in this list. But this series I love. What pulls this series down is none of the books feel like all-timers for me. 6 of the 7 books I think are great. I will say that the one book I don't particularly like is Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I know everybody else kind of disagrees with me, but that's my least favorite, and I don't really care for that one. But a lot of the others I love. I particularly think my favorites are probably Horse and His Boy, Silver Chair, and Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. But it's a delightful series. They're really fun, quick reads, and this is, I think, especially a great starting point for kids reading fantasy and for reading books. So that's my number 5. What's my number 4? My number 4 is going to be one of the more recent middle grade reads, and that is the Fablehaven series. This series basically combines what's great about Harry Potter and what's great about Narnia, and kind of meshes them together. And I think that Brandon Mull just has a great feel for how to write fantasy that kids will love and adults will still appreciate. And this series, it's a 5-book series, although he's done spin-off books in the universe, but it's a 5-book series, and each book got longer, and each book continued to raise the stakes. This book series is about these 2 kids who go to live with their grandparents for a summer while their parents are away on something, and they find out that their grandparents actually live on a magical preserve. And it's delightful. The whole creatures and the magic system and the sense of wonder when they meet a new creature or something, and also the dark vibes that it gets. It gets pretty dark in this series, but I think that this whole series was just really entertaining, and I really enjoyed the Fablehaven books. So that's why I'm including it on the list at number 4. At number 3, we're going back to the dystopian. Probably my favorite, well, not my favorite, one of my favorite dystopian stories is The Partial Sequence by Dan Wells. This trilogy was great from beginning to end. I particularly think the first book is just so shocking and so well done. It deals with really difficult topics, really difficult concepts and worldview issues, but also tackles them in just such an interesting way. You don't know where the author comes down on an issue, but he's just exploring it in this book. And you deal with population issues. You deal with the kids having to. This book is a great example of why the teenagers are actually the ones taking action into their own hands, and it's just really well done. The romances in here, I think, are really well done. I think the action, the mystery, and I really particularly like the world building, the kind of sci-fi, dystopian, apocalyptic world building that's happening in this book series. So the Partial series is my number 3. My number 2 favorite YA or middle grade series is the Steelheart, the Reckoners trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I read this a couple years ago. Brandon Sanderson is my favorite author, and I wasn't sure if he would translate well to YA when I mostly read his adult stuff. But his YA stuff like this is just incredible. And the whole Reckoners trilogy just has great superhero vibes. It has great action, great characters. The main character makes a lot of stupid jokes that a lot of people roll their eyes at. I find it endearing. There's kind of a will they, won't they romance, as a lot of YA books have, and I thought that was really endearing. The concept of the heroes going evil very much is borrowing from something like not The Boys, because they came out around the same time, but it's a similar concept to The Boys, but Brandon Sanderson's much more appropriate, and I think he has a better answer to those problems. But also, I would argue that this book really feels like a better version of what the CW does. When I'm reading certain action sequences, I'm able to picture what the CW DC shows like Arrow and Flash were doing, but I think that Brandon does it even better here, which is why this is my number 2. It's a great superhero story. It's a great superhero trilogy. So that's my number 2. What's my number 1? Well, it's the most obvious number 1, and that's going to be Harry Potter. That is the best middle grade / YA series. Funny enough, this was the series that kind of made me decide to combine the two, because the first half of Harry Potter is middle grade, the second half of Harry Potter is YA, and so which do I categorize it as? Do I include it in both? So I just smushed the two genres together. But Harry Potter, what else needs to be said about it? It's a fantastic series. The sense of wonder, like I talked about with Fablehaven, the adventure, how each book has a great plot, how all the characters are distinct, how all of the books have emotion and draw you in. My favorite book in the series is Deathly Hallows, because I think it just builds on everything we've gotten before. It just really has excellent payoffs. And regardless of what you think of J.K. Rowling and her political beliefs and stuff, this series is just so entertaining. And yes, like the Twilight books or like the Divergent books, yes, it kind of sets some trends, but I think that that's okay, because when you write, a really entertaining book, I'm okay with that being an introduction for a lot of readers. And I think that it also has great biblical themes, great biblical overtones that I think work really well in the series. So Harry Potter is my number one favorite middle grade or YA book series. So if you've read any of these series, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below, which is your favorite, and what middle grade or YA that I haven't read yet should I read. Let me know those thoughts in the comments, and until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.